Good. All right, everybody. Well, hello, and my name is Courtney Carnaggio, and I am the investor consultant here at the Knoxville Chamber. Thank you guys so much for joining us this afternoon. We're very excited to have all of you here today for our second Ecosystem Explained event. I want to take a moment and recognize all the sponsors who have invested in making this event and our work and business attraction possible. Iris Networks, Shad Companies, Gym Care Staffing, the Chrisman Company, C Spire, and Ionogen. Just to give you all a quick idea of what today will look like, so Caleb Knight, the Knoxville Chamber's Director of Business Attraction, will share how his role fits into the organization's 5-year strategic plan and the work he's currently doing in that area. And if you just want to let you guys know, if you have any questions as Caleb is sharing, just please enter them into the chat box and we'll answer those at the end. And if for some reason we don't get to your question, or if you would like to dive a little bit deeper, please stay for our breakout rooms and our breakout discussions after the presentation concludes. So before we start and dive into the presentation, I want to invite two of our ecosystem partners to say a few words. First, we have Jonathan Cofield, Business Expansion Ecosystem Partner and Director of Commercial Sales at C Spire. I want to invite him to say a few words. So take it away, Jonathan.
Thank you, Courtney, and thank you, Chamber, for putting on this event this afternoon and for including us in it. Obviously, C Spire is heavily invested in economic growth in the Knoxville community. I mean, for those of you who don't know who C Spire is, if you may remember the old Cellular South name as a wireless provider out of Mississippi. And over the past decade or so, we've morphed into a more complete IT solutions provider. And it was economic development that got us into Knoxville, right? So from Mississippi to expanding into Tennessee and Alabama into our current footprint today through some acquisitions and mergers. That's the reason I'm sitting here today. So, and I'm very grateful for my job and I'm very grateful for this community. So we decided it's a great fit for C Spire to be in the Economic Development Board, as well as serving our customers. So it's important that we have an obligation to all the businesses in the community to be an IT partner. And we think, I mean, the more businesses, the better for the community, better for our business. So we're just grateful to be here. So thank you, guys.
Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing about C Spire and your investment in our community. I would now like to invite Randy Merritt, Ecosystem Partner and Regional Business Development Manager for the Chrisman Company.
Thank you, Courtney, and thank you, Knoxville Chamber, for this opportunity today. You know, I want to tell you three things today. I want to tell you about Chrisman, why economic development is important to Knoxville, and why I chose to be an economic development ecosystem partner. So about Chrisman, with roots in Oak Ridge during World War II, Thomas Rittenbach, a Michigan native, established our office as Rittenbach Engineering Company. Beginning in 1946, Rittenbach built many of the iconic structures you see today in Knoxville, the Sun Sphere, TVA towers, and many additions to the Neyland Stadium. And for 2 generations, Rittenbach continued to build in Knoxville. In 2014, Rittenbach entered a national search, eventually was acquired by the Chrisman Company. Chrisman is based in Lansing, Michigan, and founded in 1894. We built for many of the names that you use every day, FedEx, 3M, Pfizer, which we all know about, even Ford Motor Company. So Chrisman has a long history, and locally, you'll see some of our projects in the UT Student Union, the Strong Hall Lab, Mossman Lab on the UT campus, and maybe you've seen Shannondale Retirement Home down on Middlebrook. So we've built in this region and all across the country for a long time. We're an employee-owned company, and our stated purpose is to build partnerships that bring value to the owner, the designer, the trade contractors we work with, and as a result, to bring products that help us all enjoy a better life. Why economic development is important to Knoxville? It's important because, like other partnerships I talked about with architects and owners and trade contractors, economic development is where we build a partnership that it's on a grander scale. It benefits the entire region. It helps new ideas flow, new industry to grow, and provide these opportunities to the people that live and work here. So very, very important. I wanted to be a part of this ecosystem because I love building these partnerships. I love interacting with local and state and regional leaders, and we all share that common purpose to make it a better place to be. And so that's why I like this opportunity. So that's enough about me. I want to introduce Caleb. Caleb Knight has been in this role with the Chamber since 2020 in July. Prior to joining the Chamber, he worked for the state of Tennessee's Department of Economic and Community Development, where he was responsible for managing statewide projects and reviewing applications for incentives for companies interested in locating or expanding their operations in the state. In his current role, he represents the Knoxville community and with its efforts to recruit new companies and investment to Knox County. So Caleb, take it away.
Thanks, Randy. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Awesome. Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today to kind of listen to what I hope to accomplish in the Knoxville community and my role and at the Chamber here. So I'll just go ahead and get started, just touching back on our path to prosperity and the mission that we hope to accomplish. We are currently in year number 2 of the path to prosperity. And if you look right here, where the last ecosystem explained that we had covered business expansion. Right here, going down to the right, you'll see business attraction, where my role is in build community. And you'll see right here, these are our 5 strategic platforms: communication, health, movement, power, and security. And I'm happy to say that all of the different projects that we have in our pipeline right now cover one of these categories. So we're able to work with companies across the country, outside of Knox County, outside of the state of Tennessee, that fit into our strategic platforms. And that really helps drive what our goals are for business attraction and the types of companies that we want to recruit here to Knoxville. So here's just a look at our current pipeline. You'll see that we have 55 active projects for recruitment of companies to the Knoxville region. If we were to locate every single one of those projects, we would be a total creation of 7,131 jobs and a total investment of $848 million. So we're working diligently every day to try to make Knoxville more attractive and find other leads. But as far as existing projects go, currently we have this many. And historically speaking, just as far as my role with the state and how that's transitioned to Knoxville, historically, the way the economic development works in Tennessee is the state of Tennessee's Department of Economic and Community Development and the Tennessee Valley Authority Economic Development Team are responsible for generating leads with companies who have potential to grow and expand in Tennessee. And so what's great about what the Knoxville Chamber is doing right now is that we are actually pursuing our own leads through relationships that we've been able to build with Wilson's contacts here locally. The existing businesses that we have in Knoxville have relationships with companies from outside of Knoxville that have potential to grow and expand in our market. And luckily, we live in a state that has an extremely balanced budget and a really strong business climate with a low tax burden. One of the things that we like to talk about with these companies from across the country are about how great of a tax environment it is to be in Tennessee. Tennessee has the second lowest tax burden in the country, behind Alaska. And we actually have the lowest debt per capita in the entire country. So those are some statistics that we like to talk about with these companies who are operating in these high tax environments, high cost of living, and really just not a great quality of life when they are compared to the type of assets that we have here in Knoxville. So just along those lines, we have some pretty strong assets that we partner with when we are pursuing projects and pursuing companies that might be able to come to Knoxville. And we have traditionally worked with the University of Tennessee, and as of late, as of the last 2 years, the University of Tennessee has actually established an office for corporate engagement, which is essentially their economic development arm at the university, and that's made a huge impact in our ability to bring prospects in front of the university and show them what a partnership would look like with the state's largest university and educational institute. So we're really proud to have UT here in Knoxville, but along with that, we also have Oak Ridge National Lab right up the road. The Oak Ridge does a great job of bringing companies who are trying to license their technology or develop a specific kind of technology, specifically in the advanced materials areas, as well as the electric vehicles and other types of electric grid technology improvements. So a lot of different areas that we're able to pursue and show that Knoxville is suited for a company to grow its business because of the technology assets we have. And lately, we've actually been working really closely with the Electric Power Research Institute and the companies that they partner with as well. And we've had a lot of success and had conversations with companies there that have bared some fruit. So we're excited about the continuing possibility and growth of this pipeline, and hope we can start to see more of these projects get located right here. So here's an overview of the pipeline. You'll see here on the left side that these are our 5 strategic platforms. Not all of our projects are able to easily fit into one of the 5: communication, health, movement, power, and security. There sometimes can be a little bit niche, and so we have designated a separate category for that. But you'll see right here that movement and power are our largest recruitment categories for our strategic categories. And really, that just goes to show the relationships that we have with ORNL, EPRI, and TVA, as well as the university. So if you look here to the right, you'll see these 4 categories as well. And that manufacturing is really our largest area of project activity. We have a lot of companies that benefit from being in Tennessee, a lot of manufacturers that benefit from being in Tennessee because of our tax environment. And so as a result of that, you'll start to see, we've started to see more and more manufacturers look at Knoxville and consider Knoxville for either an expansion opportunity or a total relocation of their operations out of another state. The second largest category is office. So that, and with the office environment changing, and I know there's a lot of folks on this call that are working remotely. And that's a theme across the United States that we're seeing more of. And so we're being strategic in how we approach companies that don't need a physical location and how they operate. And so a lot of that goes back to just attracting companies that can live in a place that has a low tax burden and a strong business environment, and relocate out of some of these other areas like Southern California, Chicago, and the like. So that kind of is a good segue for me to get into our next topic. So here's some recent announcements. So Lending Solutions Incorporated, we actually, all of the first 6 months that I was here with the Chamber, I actually was put in charge of trying to attract Chicago-based businesses. We had kind of looked at a couple of different factors when identifying a geography in the United States that we wanted to pursue, and Chicago was one of those growth communities that we had seen a lot of migration out of the Chicago area to Knoxville that we wanted to kind of capitalize on. And so Lending Solutions Incorporated came to us, a Chicago-based company that was looking to expand its operations in the Eastern time zone. We were competing with a couple of different communities in the Southeast, and at the end of the day, we were able to work with the state of Tennessee, Tennessee Valley Authority, and Avison Young to put together a package that really sold Knoxville, and we were able to locate Lending Solutions Inc. or LSI last Monday, they announced. So we're excited about that. And then, as you all may have seen in the last few months, in January, CGI also decided to locate here. That is a Canadian company that does IT and tech services. So we're helping them now staff up their operations here in partnership with the university. So since our Chicago business attraction efforts have sort of sunsetted, we have started up with our new attraction geography, which is Southern California. So since we have started to shift away from the Chicago market and target the Southern California market, I'm happy to say that of this goal of holding 10 to 15 Zoom calls, phone calls, and conversations with business leaders and employers in Southern California, we have actually surpassed that number to 17, and we have quite a few others on the docket that we're looking forward to having conversations and talking to these businesses that have potential to expand. We've also hosted a site visit here in Knoxville with a California-based company. This was a lead generated by TVA and the state of Tennessee, that they came to Knoxville, and we were able to come and talk to them about why it was better to do business here than in Southern California. And if you look over here to the right, you'll see some of the examples of our new marketing material related to the workforce demographics of Knoxville. And you could just kind of see these are things that we're pushing out for folks that live in Southern California to consider while we're trying to do our recruitment efforts. Here is an overview of our strategic plan for targeting Southern California. These are just some industry categories that we're seeing a lot of project activity in, all of which fit into one of our 5 strategic platforms. So if you are familiar with Local Motors or Buffalo Automation, who announced the world's first autonomous water taxi here in Knoxville back in January, and then Local Motors back in February was able to get its first license plate so that it could operate autonomous vehicles in Knox County. So that's an area that we're starting to see more and more growth in, not just in Knoxville, but nationally. And we've been able to work really closely with the state of Tennessee's efforts there as well. Medical devices, obviously with COVID and all the different healthcare needs that are starting to come up in the United States, we're trying to capture that market and see if there is employment opportunities there. Creative media, software production, think of Discovery, Jupiter Entertainment. There's more and more of these companies locating in Knoxville and setting up shop because they've realized that they're able to accomplish their goals for the company here in Knoxville, not just in Southern California, where most of this takes place in the US. Power generation, electric infrastructure, battery manufacturing, everything related to EV. These are really hot topics for the state of Tennessee right now and TVA. The state of Tennessee has come out pretty strong and said that they want to be the #1 electric vehicle manufacturing state in the Southeast. And so they've already announced a few different projects in the last couple of weeks. GM is going to be manufacturing its batteries in Spring Hill, south of Nashville, and a few other battery projects have announced, like Volkswagen and a couple others. Nissan is another example. So we're working to build a relationship with the economic development teams that are focused on this to make sure that Knoxville is being recognized as an asset here in the state that can help grow that ecosystem in EV. Cybersecurity is another area, and that's what CGI is one of the services that they offer. So we're seeing more and more growth there and in that sector. And then one interesting category that I also think is really relevant to Knoxville is the outdoor recreation equipment. If you remember a couple years ago, Lifetime announced that it would be building plastic kayaks out in Eastbridge Business Park in northeast Knox County. And as a part of that conversation in that category, we're building relationships with some of our existing outfitters and companies that are selling these types of equipment, and because this is a really great place to have that kind of hobby. And in the Southeast, near the Smoky Mountains, where there's plenty of fishing and camping and kayaking taking place, we just feel like Knoxville is a really strong market for this area. So that is pretty much it for my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions or talk through any of the efforts that are taking place here at the Chamber to try to recruit more companies to Knoxville. Ginger, if there's anything specific you want me to go through, I'm happy to do that, but that is essentially it for me.
What I was going to say, I do want to just thank you so much, Jonathan, Randy, and Caleb. And we also appreciate our sponsors who help make the Chamber's work of driving regional economic prosperity and events like this possible. So again, I want to thank our sponsors, Iris Networks, Shad Companies, Gym Care Staffing, the Chrisman Company, C Spire, and Ionogen. We appreciate everybody for joining us today. Thank you. And I hope you enjoy this next portion of the event.